There are a couple of important tips that we've picked up over the years doing workshops that we'd like to share with you for making it easier using instruments in the classroom. So the first one would be to make sure that we select the right instruments to actually bring into the classroom. So we'd advise any teacher to go through their box of instruments in the school and play each instrument as loud as you possibly can. So do this outside school class times at lunch break or something, and literally play each instrument as loud as you can. And if it's an instrument like this, where when you play it gently, it's fine, but if you start playing it loud, it sounds way too loud, then don't bring that instrument into the classroom. So the key is to actually select out the instruments that sound good first of all and don't sound too loud, because you can imagine an instrument like this can really make the whole lesson get out of control. The noise level goes up and up and up, and the last thing you want to do is go taking instruments off the children. So the best idea is to not bring instruments like this into the classroom especially for the first while when they're using instruments. So that's the first piece of advice, to make sure we just bring the quieter instruments into the classroom. Another one would be with triangles. If you've ever gone into your instrument box and found that the triangles are all missing the string part. So I've got an example of one with string here. This one has a hole in it for the string to go, but most of them actually the string can kind of slip off. So we would advise you to use some plumber's tape. So that's just electrical plumber's tape that we have on that. And it also has the benefit of, when you play the triangle, it doesn't spin around as much. So if you're using a string, the triangle can twirl around a lot and it's actually a lot harder to hit it. But when you're using this plumber's tape and you wrap it around and stick it there, then you can hit it. It changes the sound a small bit, but I think it's worth it for not having it spin around so much. Another thing is to do with the shakers. So I said in one of the previous videos that the shakers at the start are the easiest instrument to use, but when we're actually doing more complicated things like rhythm, the shaker becomes quite a difficult instrument to use. So at the start, when we're just shaking, making sound, making noise, the shaker is very easy, but when we get to the point where we have to actually make rhythms with it and get it on time, the shaker becomes quite a difficult instrument to use. The reason would be that if I'm tapping at a pulse here and I have to hit the chime bar with it, the sound comes from the point when I actually hit the chime bar, and that's easy to kind of judge. But when you're using a shaker, there's a kind of prep time that you need for moving the hand back, and that's where the noise actually starts. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and the actual rhythm, the note that we're aiming, the rhythm that we're aiming to hit, comes at the bottom of this movement. So that becomes a lot trickier when we're doing rhythm later on. So that's it. The main thing is to make sure that we bring the right instruments into the classroom and then divide them up in the right way for using the Dabble Do resources.